Man, roll my window down a little bit. Good morning, y'all. Got my hair looking crazy. Needs to be washed and combed. It's about 7:14 a.m. here in Northern California. Why does it look a little? Looks like foggy, doesn't it? Does it look? Is it dry? It looks a little foggy. I don't know why it looks foggy. I'm sorry. Because it looks like I don't know. Like my picture is coming out weird. I'm having me a cup of tea. This morning start off bad because last night I had like the worst heartburn, and I don't usually take medication, and I literally took something for it. That's how bad it was hurting. I've been having a lot of issues with my stomach for some reason, and it could be because the ribbon and running I do, and me having to grab food in different areas instead of me fixing it myself. You ever had if you're a traveler and you travel around different places and you have to get food from different places and it doesn't necessarily go well with your stomach, that's me. Okay. So I really have got to do something about, my diet because it's reflecting, trust me. Um, I'm supposed to be trying to improve it. And it's just about having the time to meal plan and put these meals together beforehand. As you can see, I've been severely, like, excessively, obsessively trying to improve myself, my content, my family, my finances, everything. And so far, so good. I just feel so good about the direction I'm heading in with my life. Um, if you haven't walked a mile in my shoes, it's kind of difficult for you to be judgmental or critical. And what I do on my channel is encourage everyone to not be so critical of each other because we don't know each other well enough to be able to make sound judgment in regards to, who one another is. And so, um, a person can tell you a story about their life, or they can tell you an experience they had, or observation, or something like that, but still, at the end of the day, you will not be able to make like this solid opinion about another human being, especially when you're speaking about another human being who is all the way on the other side of the internet. And so that's been one of the messages that I have taught on my channel over and over and over again, to be accepting of other people and to appreciate diversity and differences, agree to disagree, um, just love and care for each other or support each other. Own. If you don't have anything nice to say, just move in silence. And I've given a lot of other people that same respect because I've watched their content and I may have disagreed with something that they said, especially when I'm dealing with African American women, because I feel like, the plight of an African American woman, um, we all can agree as Black women that sometimes, uh, the experiences that we have are unfair to us. We experience adversities and we experience disrespect. And whether we're a good woman or a bad woman or a woman with kinky hair or relaxed hair, braided hair, or whether we're married or single or whatever, still we are disrespected so much because of our skin color, right? So, what I try to encourage everyone to do is have love for each other, regardless of your color or gender. And that's a very, very um, hard thing to do because a lot of people just want you to pick a side, honestly. They want you to pick a specific gender that you support, a specific race that you support, and stick with that. Because, of course, I agree that being like on both sides of the fence can be confusing to other people. You understand? So I get it. So for me, I just try to stick to my race. Um, I try to also be supportive of people of other races. I like multicultural experiences. I live in a multicultural place. I grew up in a multicultural place. And the only time I had ever experienced some type of segregation or racism is when I lived in the state of Georgia. Now I live in California, and racism is something, Northern California, racism is something I barely even experience. So I don't push this pro-black narrative. I spent many years talking about race on my channel, and I feel like, excuse me, that's the worst thing I could have done. Putting myself inside of this box. Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Oh, my heartburn is so bad. Putting myself inside of this box to where I am only um, a representative of a specific kind of person. I would just prefer to be a representative of who Soncerae is. And I can encourage other people to feel comfortable in their skin like Soncerae does. That's all I really am capable of doing without causing harm to myself, to the people around me. You know, when I was speaking just solely about my race and, talking about the issues that, happen that plague my community, I saw a lot of people disagreeing. I didn't see a lot of unity. I didn't see a lot of people coming together. I just saw a lot of just people at each other's throats, throwing insults at each other, poor communication, being overcritical and unforgiving, misunderstanding people, twisting people's words, starting drama, starting beef. And it was just like, oh my God, like, do I want to risk my level of sanity and peace sitting here just trying to provoke thought and to improve the lives of other people and promote something more positive and not getting the results I want to get because people are out here not listening and doing whatever it is that they feel they want to do, um, basically moving off of over emotions and judgmental preconceived notions of other people. It was just like, I don't like this, And I remember when I was doing these videos, I look at my comment section and I'll be saying, could you guys stop arguing? Could you guys stop arguing? Could you guys stop arguing? Stop arguing over and over again. And I felt like I was just talking to a whole bunch of children. And it was just annoying me. And I was like, to me, I got a lot of growing to do myself, but I love intellectual conversation. I love to see people communicate with each other. But YouTube is like one of those horrible places to see that because people's intellect like kind of goes out the window when they get here. I could be on other social media platforms and never experience that. So anyway, speaking of other social media platforms, I I absolutely adore Facebook. Like, because my friends are there, family, coworkers, people I went to college with, and the behavior of people on that site is a lot better than the behavior of the people on this site. And so, speaking of Facebook, um, if you go into my community tab, I just posted a blog, and the title of that blog is "This Black Woman Here Disappoints Me." And it's about a video that was uploaded onto Facebook about, a number of things, but I was mentioned inside of this video, and someone was very critical of me unnecessarily. But most people are critical of me. A lot of people uh, are fearful of things they don't understand, or they haven't collected enough information about something to even be speaking about something. So of course they harbor a level of misunderstanding. And so I try to remember that when I hear people being critical of me. Um, but if you want to go check that blog out, you can. It's more about that video in that blog. But someone left a comment on that blog early this morning, and the comment is actually the thumbnail for this video. And inside of the comment, a guy was saying, I needed to make up my mind whether I was black or Asian or Indian or whether I was a single mother or not. And I'm thinking to myself, I get on my channel every day and I'm very clear about who I am. I talk about my transition. I talk about, what made me become the kind of woman I am. I've spoken about my history with my family. I've spoken about my race. I mean, the information is just out there in regards to me because I've been very clear. And for someone to still be confused proves the point that I said a minute ago, that no matter how much I sit on YouTube and try to spread positivity or intellect or, knowledge, people are still going to pick up from what I'm saying what they want to pick up. Okay. And no matter how many times I try to improve my talking points or better orchestrate the lessons and how I explain my lessons, how I express myself, how I try to communicate with you guys, no matter how much I try to, help you guys understand, at the end of the day, you're going to pick up on what you want to pick up on. Your perspective is your own, and you're going to take the information out of this that you want to take out of it. And so, as I'm sitting here in my driveway, enjoying my cup of tea, I do want to say make it very, very clearly. I am an African American woman, right? But if I wanted to uh, stomp around this planet saying I'm a rainbow woman, that's what I'm going to do. Because that's where things are comfortable within. The message that I teach you guys all the time is to be comfortable with yourself. So if I wanted to walk around here and be a rainbow goddess and tell you I have all of these races, if I want to send my DNA to Ancestry and be petty and tell you all the percentages of blood I have in me and walk around here with a shirt on that says Rainbow Girl, that's what I'm going to do. So for someone to be putting a comment in my comment section saying I need to make up my mind about my race, my religion, and whether I'm a single mother or not, says a lot about how people view me and feel entitled. They feel like they have a level of control over what I do, and as if somehow something I can do will help how they perceive me. Everyone perceives another human being based upon the experiences that they've had, the knowledge that they have, the observation that they have. We're all different. And that diversity creates our perspective of reality. So regardless to what I do and or say, sometimes, if not all the time, someone is going to misinterpret and misunderstand something I'm saying. So the first part of this message was, Soncerae, you need to make up your mind whether you're African American, mixed race, Asian blood, or Indian blood. So here's the problem here. I've never said I was Asian. Well, I've never said I had Asian blood. Where did that come from? Like, my son is African American and Japanese because priest was African American and Japanese. So Justice, when you see Justice, you can tell he's Japanese. He's part Japanese, right? It's just, you can see it. I'm not Japanese. I mean, I'm not Asian. Okay. Um, I identify as African American, of course. Look at me. You know what I mean? I'm an African American woman, but I do have Caucasian blood in me. I do have Cherokee Indian blood in me, okay? And a lot of us do, some more than others. A lot of times when I'm walking around California and I run into other races of people, they ask me what my ethnicity is. Because if you ever saw me in person, you would see that I have certain features that, you know, are better defined when you're standing directly in front of me. And you'll see that I must be mixed with something. Now, do I walk around here calling myself mixed race woman? No. Do I go around here, trying to seem like I'm a better woman than another woman because I'm mixed race? No. Um, Most of the women in my family are fair skinned. It's interesting that I even came out darker skinned because my mom is fair skinned, my sister, my daughter, my aunts are fair skinned. I have a few that are darker skinned, but I never really like. I don't know. I try not to be too specific about my race. Excuse me. I'm African American. Okay, that's number one. Number two, my religion. I always talk about how I used to be Christian, right? And how I'm Buddhist now. So for a person to be looking at me and then leave a comment in my comment section that says, you need to make up your mind whether you're Christian or Buddhist. Buddhist. I've said this like like I talk about prayer and meditation all day. I talk about spirituality and metaphysics, and you're still sitting here confused about what my religion is. So anyway, the next thing, supposedly I'm confused about whether I'm a single mother. I just made a video yesterday about being a single mother. The whole concept of hashtag the matriarch is about me being a single mother. So why is a man who is reading my blog putting a comment on it telling me that I need to make up my mind whether I'm a single mother or not? Who sounds more confused in this, him or me? You guys have got to start paying attention and listening to the content that you see on YouTube. Listen to what people are saying in regards to their lives and their experiences, and you will be able to have a better understanding of another human being. You won't be so confused. A lot of people who are confused look in the direction of another human being and swear to God that that human is confused. No, it's you who are confused. It's you who are confused, my friend. So anyway, my biggest message on my channel is love yourself, accept yourself, be you, love who you are, regardless to whether you're being criticized, regardless to if somebody hates what you have to say. So what? Big deal, you know? And if you don't have anything nice to say, what's the point in even saying it? Like, why are people so pressed to express a negative opinion about another human being? Why? For what? Okay, you have a negative perspective of reality and you want to keep reiterating that to the world. You want to keep expressing your negative opinion about another human being every day. That means your perspective of reality is negative, not this person that you keep talking about every day. To me, it's a waste of time. Like, that's why I won't do it. If you realize, most of my videos, 9 times out of 10, they're about me. Because I can only talk about me and my experiences because that's all I know. I know that those things better than anyone else. I know my life better than I know anything or anyone else. So I can only use my life as an example to teach another person something. And then the only time I'll bring up another human as if I'm trying to get another person to understand something that I'm trying to say and I'm using this person as an example, you know? And I rarely like doing that because at the end of the day, I still don't know people's, you know, lives enough to make sound judgment about who they are as people. I can talk about a specific experience that they've spoken about, and I can say, well, this is my opinion about this person's experience. But to judge them as a person as a whole, I can't do that. I can't do that to any of you. I don't know any of you. I don't know any of you well enough. Um, But what I can say that disappoints me about certain types of people is that they believe that where they stand and what they believe, um, what they're doing, trumps what everyone else is thinking, doing, and or believing. They don't appreciate diversity. They don't, um, respect the differences. They don't understand that there are different walks of life. Everyone is walking their own path, and no one's paths are exactly identical. We all experience things differently. I will never be able to understand how out of the blue someone could just create some content on social media or make some post, some random post about a person they barely know and speak of that person in complete detail as if they have the intel, as if they know that person so well. And then they're so confident and arrogant in what they're saying and they're misinformed, so the information that's coming out of their mouth is so inaccurate and they think they're so right and so confident. See, there's a difference between opinion and facts, right? We all have an opinion about something that is factual that we saw. But a lot of times when we're expressing ourselves about other people, we portray to the people that are listening to us that what we're saying is factual about a person, when really it's just an opinion based off of a little bit of information that we have gathered or compiled together that probably is partially incorrect. What I've noticed about a lot of YouTube videos and articles that I read, I literally, when I hear about a current event happening, I have to read more than one article about it. Because if I rely solely on one article, I will be so misinformed because that one article is probably missing information. That one article has probably spun the event in their favor to show favoritism um, in regards to what they believe should be the right thing a person should do. Uh, it's a number of things. So I got to sit down and I have to read 3 and 4 articles to make sure the information that I got about this specific story is accurate. When you guys are sitting down and you're listening to people talk about other people, be very careful, be very leery, because people who talk about other people are missing something in their own lives. They're deprived in their own lives in some kind of way. And you have to remember that. People who have full, happy lives, 9 times out of 10 start talking about how to improve or ideas or stuff like that. Not people. You don't gossip about people, drag people down. It's just a waste of energy for most of us. Mm, uh, the African guy is here. What's up, African guy? Mm, I'm doing fine. I just got a lot to work on, and I'm very, very tired. I work so much. I try to work smart, but being a single mother and going out here working and you know, um, living life to the fullest, you could get a little exhausted. Definitely. hmm And watching my neighbor, I never understood like why the people have the habits that they have because she always parks on the street. I never understood that. Like why she doesn't use the driveway because she has a big driveway. Like I have a big driveway. I could put 4 cars. Listen, I could put 2 cars in my garage, and then 2 cars in the driveway. And she never parks in the driveway. I don't know what that is. Don't you guys hate when someone parks in front of your house? Like I have someone who always parks like to the right of my house. I don't like it. I'm like, why do you always park right there? It annoys me. Like you're directly in front of my house. Why? You know what I mean? Like, for a while, like you're like, we. I don't know. And so anyway, I heard a lot about a lot of the women on YouTube, a lot of the black women, and I've tried in the past to be very, very supportive of these women simply off of the fact that we're black. I've tried to show these women a level of support, a level of encouragement. If I didn't agree with their opinions or talking points, I just wouldn't say anything because I feel like as women, we're already like oppressed in so many different ways. I mean, especially if you're a black woman, it's like double minority. And I just always felt like if I was going to be on this platform and sharing it with a whole bunch of women who people always drag down, I always wanted unity between me and those other women. And I never like thought in a million years that it would get to the point that it has where there's a level of division between black women just on this platform. I'm not sure if I've seen it anywhere else, but it definitely is here. I can't express my level of frustration when I do deal with African American women who are in business, because sometimes the ego and the pride of a black woman can definitely get in her way as far as financial growth and entrepreneurial, um, you know, progress. But I mean, still thriving though, because I mean, you have to think about it. African American women are doing it. I mean, seriously, like executives of companies and owning stuff and businesses and all types of stuff. I mean, black women are doing it. So I just want to show support to my women. I don't like that a lot of people drag black women. My husband gets so someone barks in front of our house. I just don't know. It's because it's kind of like in the way. Like my house is beautiful. Before I moved here, I used to drive up to my house every day and imagine myself living here. When they would do like open houses and show other people the houses, I would come the day after, and if it was dirty, I would clean the house. And I would, get out and look at the trees and memorize even a crack in the foundation. Like, say, for instance, on my garage, right, at the top of my garage, it's like little cracks. I memorized the cracks. I basically stalked my house because I said, this is where I want to live. Before it was mine, I just was like, this is where I want to live. So I came here every day, and it, to me, when someone else parks in front of it, when it doesn't belong to them, the work and energy I put into my home, I feel like the only person that's supposed to park in front of my house is me. See what I'm saying? But I think it could be because I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I can't. I don't know why I hate it. I just do. I can't. I just do. No, this isn't a replay. This is me. Um, I'm not feeling well today, so I'm not my regular self. Um, Hopefully I'll go to the doctors very soon and try to see what's going on with me. I have just some health issues I've been dealing with between my legs, and my legs were injured during my birth. My right leg specifically was injured when I gave birth to my son, and um, something is going on with my feminine parts. Like I think it's I don't know. It has something to do with my cycle. I might, like someone said, I might have endometriosis. Someone said I might have fibroids. Someone said, I'm just more concerned about my feminine health, and then I'm having digestive issues. And it's just like, oh my god! But I think I know why I'm having digestive issues. It's because I need a fruit and vegetable. Like I rip and run a lot, so I drink a lot of V8. I drink a lot of VA energy drinks, and I drink a lot of Bath House smoothies. And so I think I just need to grab some salads and like get some vegetables, and because I don't really eat a lot of meat like that. If I do eat meat, I eat chicken and turkey. So I don't know what's going on. It could be just I need more vegetables and to drink more water. It could be that. But I really just wanted you guys to check out the link that I posted on my community tab, because it's unfortunate that the person that I'm talking about in that blog I had always heard about her on YouTube. Like I had always heard just stories about her. And of course, I'm not like in the interracial dating community because it's like a community of people. And I've always been like, well, shit, date who you want to date. Like, if you want to date a white person, date a white person. If you want to date a purple person, date a purple person. Do what makes you feel comfortable. But to disrespect someone who hasn't chose what you have is a whole nother thing. Like that becomes a whole nother problem. And I mean, I've had the same complaint with the men who get on to social media and complain about how they don't date black women, but instead of praising the women that they do date, they just use their social media platform to complain about what they don't date. You know what I mean? That's is the same as what I'm seeing these women inside of this interracial community do. Like, okay, you don't date African American men. Okay, explain to women why you have chose these men, but do it without disrespecting or saying something negative about a black man, especially when you're black. And so I've never when I see black women, um, like Successful Ladies Live or Crystalline Carazin, or any woman who is pushing this narrative that black women should choose white men. When I see them speaking that, I just be like, oh, okay, that's a different perspective. I never looked at them and because I disagree with them, look at them as like bad people. You know what I'm saying? Or that they were giving other women bad advice. It was more of, oh, it's different advice and that advice applies to those women. You understand what I'm saying? Like I've said about Derek Jackson, I've said to myself, to me, right? Derek Jackson gives this advice that doesn't apply to me. It applies to a certain type of woman. And because of my personal like feeling towards Derek Jackson, of course I wouldn't take his advice, but I'm not going to chastise women that do because I've seen how his advice helps other people. Um, I said this about Angel Ramirez. I said I never liked the way that Angel Ramirez gave advice because it always seemed like cookie cut advice, right? And when I gave him the opportunity to give me advice about a specific situation, I just used, myself as an example to see what type of advice he would give me. And he gave me like this cookie cut advice. And from then on, it was just like, well, this isn't the person I can take advice from, but I know plenty of women who will be able to um, learn something from him. And just because I dislike him for how he's treated me, it doesn't mean that other women should just dislike him or that I'm going to sit online and recruit other women and encourage them to not like him. To me, that's like a waste of like energy. I wouldn't, like bother with it. But what I've noticed is when people like speak of me, a lot of times they try to encourage other people to not like me. Like even if they've never like if they're talking to someone who has no clue who I am, they want to recruit and encourage that person to dislike me instead of giving that person to the freedom to go make their own choice. They want to coerce a bunch of sheeple because if you got a whole bunch of people following your every word anyway, they're sheeple, so it's easy for you to pump their mind full of whatever information you want. So not 9 times out of 10, they're not independently thinking anyway. Like I always encourage my audience and the people that watch me to be critical thinkers, to independently think, to make your own choices in regards to, what you want to promote or what you want to um, consume on a day-to-day basis. Just don't drink the poison. Don't consume the negativity every day. That's all my biggest thing is. But for a person to try to get their audience of people to be cult like and just start bashing another human being, simply off of that person just telling them to, is a whole nother level of like, I don't know, to me that's like terrible. It's like I don't know, because it's imprisonating the mind of someone. I don't like to, jail someone's mind, thinking, have them thinking inside of the box. I can say, listen, this is what I think of another human being, but still at the end of the day, I need you to go check out this person and come to your own conclusion about that person. But don't tell me that you dislike this person just so you can get social acceptance from me. Like that's not my thing. I don't like doing anything like that. But I feel like a lot of people, when they speak of me, that's what they do. They encourage people to dislike me, and if these people come back to them and say, "Hey, I have no reason to not dislike, to dislike Soncerae," they'll chastise those people and cast those people as misfits, or make them outcasts. And people want to feel like they belong to something, especially when they themselves don't have family or they don't have a lot of friends around them. They want everybody to accept them. So when a person is chastised for having a different belief than you do, um, I see how some people could want to not be chastised, and will just say whatever for social acceptance. And I feel like a lot of people have done that with me. um, and at the end of the day, people get to choose what they want, and I'm okay with that. I mean, whatevs. I'm still going to be happy with my life, regardless to what you guys choose. Oh, I'm glad. I'm so tired. Like, I cannot believe I'm this tired. Just because you are attracted or want to date a particular kind of person does not warrant you to put others down. Exactly. And too many people feel comfortable with it. Like, I don't like that people feel so comfortable with mobbing together to say, we hate this. We hate this. Like, it's like, okay. Like, I don't know. I just look at other people who like things differently from me as if, oh, that's cool. You like Cocoa Puffs? I like Frosted Flakes. Both cereal. You know what I'm saying? Like, do your thing, boo boo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just feel comfortable in myself. I guess that's what happens when you feel comfortable in who you are. Like when you feel comfortable about who you are, what other people do, you're like, good, do that for you. That's good for you. You want to clap them on. You don't want to be like, oh, why you like that? Yo, you should like this. When you need that validation, when you need for people to do that, you need to be right. Like a lot of people just want to be right. A lot of people just want everybody to agree with them. I'm not like that. Like, I don't care. If you don't agree, that doesn't make you a bad person. If you do agree, that doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you you. And that's the message that I push all the time. And I don't understand how anyone could turn around and say, oh, that's horrible advice. I don't get that. How is me telling people to be themselves horrible advice? Be free. Be free. Be who you are. Don't worry about what other people think. Because some of these people who chastise you for certain things, they hide in them same secrets. And the reason why they dislike you is because they don't have the strength and courage and bravery to be who they are. They're afraid that people are going to judge them. When people talk about me and my son's father, and how he played me, and you know they try to use that as a reason to say, Soncerae must be bad at giving advice. No, like, it isn't that I'm bad at giving advice. It's sometimes it's hard for me to take my own shit. It's hard for me to take someone else's good advice because when you're in it, you kind of got to experience it yourself before, life is the best teacher. Experience is the best teacher. So even if someone comes to you and says, you shouldn't do this, right? Because such and such possibly could happen. And you don't listen, that's why, because you're like, do I really know? Am I sure? I just tell people, follow your intuition. And just because I had like a bad relationship, or even if I've had 300 bad relationships, it still doesn't mean that I can't offer a better solution to another human being. Like, I just don't understand why people think I gotta be like in this perfect marriage or have this perfect relationship in order for me to be able to give them a decent advice. When people show you a perfect relationship, right? That's a facade, because no one's relationship is perfect. No one's relationship is good all of the time. No one's relationship is 100%. So if you see, a person who gives relationship advice and their relationships are always good, it's because they're portraying something false to you. All right. If you get a relationship with someone, I mean, if you're taking a relationship advice from someone who portrays themselves as a person who is always single or hasn't been in a relationship with anyone, it's because that's the choice that they made for them. It has nothing to do with whether they know how do you know what the advice is. Like, I know damn well how to cook baked ziti, but it doesn't mean I'm going to eat baked ziti every day. Like, just because I know how to cook it doesn't mean I'm going to cook it every time. So that's what it is with advice. Of course, I have like these things I tell people, and people disagree, and I'm like, yay, that means you think for you. Then I have people who agree with me all the time. Like, you guys don't understand. I have so many supporters, and I have so many people that my advice has helped. So, just because my advice may not apply to you, you might have a completely different situation. Doesn't mean I give bad advice. It just means that the advice that I'm giving about that specific topic just doesn't apply to you. And that's like fine. That's fine, because I know sometimes when I'm looking at other people's advice, I'm like, that's like the worst advice. I remember I was going to Latoya Forever one time, and she was talking about how women could get a husband. She was trying to give women relationship advice, and ladies, you got to put yourself out there, put yourself on every dating app there is. You go out there, you try to holler at everything. I'm like, whoa. That is the worst advice. But people was like, thank you, Latoya. And they believed that that very piece of advice right there was good simply because Latoya was married. But see, one thing Latoya hadn't experienced is what these other single women had experienced, going date after date after date after date. This girl already been with her man. She been with the same man for a long time. I mean, her and that guy been together so long. So she's not even in a position to give a single woman, a woman who is single right now, advice on how to get a man, because things are different now than they were when she started dating her husband. But women will look at her and be like, oh, she's married, so I know she'll give good advice. No. Sometimes someone's advice applies to you, sometimes it doesn't. You know? I just want people to understand that, you know? Um, you have a beautiful spirit, but the world is not so sweet place. Oh, that's so true. Thank you. What you're saying about the world. Thank you for giving me that compliment. Yeah, what you're saying about the world is not so sweet place. The world is not gumdrops and rainbows. The world is not going to always be what you want it to be. People are not going to always be what you want them to be. They're not going to respond to you the way that they want you to respond. They're not going to do, because you can't control them. And a lot of people feel like the more control they have over someone else's behavior, that means they're more powerful. If they can control people, if they can get a flock of people to follow their every whim and word, they feel so powerful. They feel like they have life figured out. But let me tell you something. The power lies in you being able to feel comfortable with yourself and not needing that validation. Let me repeat that. The power comes in with you being comfortable with yourself and not needing the validation of others. And that is the message that I put on my channel. I talk about the mistakes that I made. I talk about when I fall on my face. I talk about, my accolades. I talk about the good things that happen in my life. I talk about the bad men, the good men, the horrible experiences, the victories. I talk about all of it. So that's real life. The reality of the situation is you're not always going to have somebody that agrees with you, but wasting your energy saying something negative about that person does nothing productive or good for your own life. So I do it. That's what I meant. Like, you know, everyone feels like they have to use their social media platforms to convince every other person on the planet to be like them. I don't do that. That's not what I'm using my social media platform for. I'm using my platform to show people who I am and to give them room to be who they are. I'm not going to try to get them to be like me. I'm me. I don't want anybody else to be like me. I want to be like Soncerae. Okay? No one else has to be like Soncerae but Soncerae. You understand? And if Soncerae wants to talk about herself in third person, because that's what makes her feel good, she. If Soncerae wants to continue to make 500 more mistakes and poor choices and then end up being hurt and use that as a story to put on YouTube, then fine. But I feel like people don't want to accept that about me. They want me to have the same insecurities that they have as far as them needing the validation of others. Like other people love me, love me, love me, like me, so I can feel good about me. No, I'm gonna feel good about me even when you hate me. Like, cause that's how I am. That's me. You know, the things that I'm not are what make me who I am. Hear me. The things that I am not are what make me who I am. And I'm proud of those things, those accomplishments, those mistakes, and everything. Things that humiliated me, times I've been embarrassed, all of that is me. And I'm good with that. And when you make peace with who you are, I promise you, stuff that other people say don't even bother you. Because I remember when I caught wind of the Facebook video that was made about me, I literally said so. Like I literally like right there. I was like, wait a minute, wait. I need content for my blog and my channel. It's like I could use this. Right? I was like, I'm trying to get my coin. I need topics. I need content. Thank you, Boo Boo, for coming out of nowhere talking about me. Now that gives me an opportunity to add some more content to my channel. So thank you. But, I just want everybody to be comfortable with who they are. And, you know, whether you take my advice or not, please at the end of the day, just be comfortable in your skin. Whether you feel like my relationship advice is good or bad, or whether my relationship with priests made you dislike me or like me, or whatever it was. Listen, at the end of the day, all I want you to do is be comfortable with who you are. That is it. I'm tired. I have been up all night and I have the worst heartburn ever. I'm going to lay down and try to go back to sleep and try to do some work later on. I appreciate y'all being here. Have vision and stay focused. Bye.